Thanks for this soundtrack. I'm not a fisherman, an oysterman, or a shrimp boat captain. I'm not involved in any capacity with the industries that are impacted the most by this tragedy. I'm not an expert in environmental studies, regional economies, or citizen activism, but after 40 days of excuses, apologies, diversions, distractions, and obfuscations, I have some experience in being angry and feeling powerless. And nothing makes me angrier and makes me feel more powerless than knowing that the anxiety and the horror and the dread that I feel is immeasurably worse for the men and women who live and work on the water and on the bayou. Entire towns, families and communities that have lived here in harmony for generations are in imminent danger of total collapse. Anger is especially burdensome if you don't know who to direct it at. And I don't think it's accurate to say that BP is the enemy. It's my belief that in the 21st century, corporations are going to cut corners wherever possible. If it means saving a dime, they're going to do the wrong thing. Right. They're going to abuse their employees, their environment, and the communities that they work in. You can count on that. Corporations ruin things. It's part and parcel of what they do, but we are not helpless to put right their transgressions. So what's to be done? There are mountains of evidence showing that corporations are going to behave badly as part of their essential nature. So how do we, as a united public, fight back? Well, for better or worse, we rely on Uncle Sam to come in with rules and restrictions and regulations. But there are many who say that those rules can't be too strict. Because corporations have to have the freedom to make however much money they want. And of course, it's the corporations who get to say what's fair and what's too strict. So instead, we end up with rules, regulations, and restrictions that are at best suggestions. Uncle Sam said, "Fix your blowout preventer to the specifications of the Minerals Management Service," and BP said no. Uncle Sam said, "Share your video data so that the Department of Interior can understand what's going on down there," and BP said no. Uncle Sam said, "Stop using Corexit because the EPA recognizes that it's just making the problem worse," and BP said no. Bullshit. So it looks to me like we're living in a scenario where BP is calling the shots and telling the government how it's going to be, when it ought to be the other way around. BP is telling you and me and our friends and families and neighbors how it's going to be. Does that sound like freedom to you? No! We've been told that BP is going to pay out all legitimate claims. Does that make us feel any better? No! BP wants us to rest assured that there will be monetary compensation for the epic damage that they've done to our people and environment. Do you feel better? No! BP wants us to believe that they've got all the expertise and all the equipment, and that they, and only they, have what it takes to protect us from further harm. Does that make us feel any better? No!
Top hat joke shot!
Yeah, you know it. Look, President Obama says the government's in charge. I think that's supposed to make us feel better. I don't know about you, but it makes me feel worse. I wish that I could come here today with all you guys and celebrate the fact that we have a democracy that is so strong, with such competent institutions and such authentic problem-solving abilities, that they can protect us from that which would destroy us. Whether that be a criminally negligent government agency or a criminally negligent private sector. I wish we had a government that could at least, given a month of warning, come up with some kind of plan that would more effectively protect Louisiana from a catastrophe as slow-moving as this one. It's painfully clear that we don't have that kind of government. So help the men and women in the coastal parishes yourselves. Go visit St. Bernard, go visit Terrebonne and Lafourche and Blackman's, eat at their restaurants and drink at their bars. old. I didn't even know if I liked fishing. But I know that I would take immense pleasure in supporting a charter boat captain whose livelihood is endangered by BP's corporate malfeasance. Everybody here today got together with a couple of their friends and booked a charter fishing trip. I know we'd make a difference. And if everyone here asks the waiter every time they visit a restaurant, "Are you serving Louisiana seafood?" I know we would make a difference. If everybody here gets creative about how we can help ourselves and help the people affected most and share those ideas and make good on them, I know we'll make a difference. It's not going to be the final solution. And it won't bring back what's already gone. But I'm not going to stay here in town enjoying the current renaissance of New Orleans while our brothers and sisters are out on the water twisting in the wind. Let's boycott BP. And let's use less gasoline and reduce our carbon footprint. Thomas Friedman says, change your leaders, not your light bulbs. So keep your anger focused on the politicians. Corporations will be corporations, and politicians will be politicians, but BP doesn't answer to you. But Mary Landrieu and Bobby Jindal and David Finner and Joseph Gao and Barack Obama do answer you. The self-serving politicians enable the bad guys, and we enable the self-serving politicians. So call your congressman and tell them they must not allow this disaster to corrode the social fabric of the social parishes. Tell them you want to be sure that BP doesn't get to handpick an oil industry-affiliated judge in Houston. To make sure that BP isn't allowed to tell a free press what beaches they can photograph and how many dead pelicans. And then, dear people, go book a charter fishing trip. Pull out the Venice and Purist and eat whatever seafood and citrus fruit you can get your hands on, and try and spread a little goodwill out there, and let those fine people know that as they undergo the nastiest and saddest and longest emergency they'll ever face, we are standing by them. It must be said that Louisiana would not be the vibrant state that it is today if it were not for a long and rich history of pioneering in the field of offshore oil and gas development. The ability to profitably extract these resources for the benefit of Louisiana is the product of a long, hard fight by generations of engineers, roughnecks, and divers that we remain proud of, even as we face the negative externalities of their legacy. If ever you need a lasting reminder about the lasting influence of this industry on our heritage, just turn over your shoulder and try to imagine New Orleans without any of those pretty skyscrapers. One Shell Square, the Texaco Center, the Chevron Building, or the Dominion Tower, which is now home to Saints owner Tom Benson. So let's keep that card in our hand, you guys. I'm confident that America can be a leader in developing alternative energy sources, and I'm confident that America can handle the responsibility of an offshore drilling program that we can be proud of. And I'm confident that Congress will pass the Accelerated Revenue Sharing Act and give Louisianians their fair share of offshore drilling royalties. And then we use the instruments of government to get what we deserve from BP. Let's also show the fishermen, the shrimpers, the oystermen, and the blue-collar families who contribute so much to the culture and the joie de vivre of Louisiana that we love them, we need them, and our kinship with them will not be washed away by erosion, corruption, displacement, or defilement. Let's stand as one citizenry, one community, and one state, and help each other get through this gauntlet that BP has laid before us. Thank you. Thank you.